My name is Shirah Apple, and I am talking about Beshallach, which is this week's Torah portion. Beshallach is just a great story. Most people know it because it starts with the lead up. The Jews have left Egypt, and they are free, but they're not out of the woods yet. So they're at the point where they're about to cross the Red Sea, and the story goes on from there. For me, Beshallach is really about trust and faith. It's the Jews are really learning to start to trust God, but they're not really there yet. Two personal stories come to me when I think about this Torah portion, and one I have to show you. One relates to this tambourine. When I was living in Jerusalem about 10 years ago, I saw a woman walking in a store, and she was dressed it was clear she was a religious lady, but was beautifully dressed and was carrying a tambourine on her bag. And I couldn't resist. I had to ask her what it was for, and she said, this tambourine for me, it's about redemption. You know, we're waiting for the redemption in the Geula and for the Messiah to come, which is a very eye-opening answer for me. And she talked about the fact that when the Israelites crossed the Red Sea, afterwards they danced to rejoice in the victory and in life, and the women danced, and how could they do that? They had drums and instruments. They had thought to bring them out of Egypt when they went. And so for her, this was a representation of the faith that the women in particular had when leaving Egypt, that they were going to need these things and still be rejoicing and dancing, even though they were going to something that they completely didn't know about. So, long story short, I ended up doing a workshop with this woman where me and a group of other women made these tambourines. So it's always a great reminder of, you know, when you go into the unknown, you should be prepared to dance. So the other story is about a Jewish artist whose name is Muriel Ukale's, very well-known artist. And back in the 1960s, when she was first starting her career, she said something that was really her own manifesto of how she worked. And what that was after the revolution, who's going to take out the garbage on Monday morning? And the reason I think about Beshallach with regard to this is because it starts out with this peak experience. After the Israelites crossed the Red Sea, they had gone through this incredible experience and rejoiced, you know, for the dancing, for their freedom, with all of their hearts. But when they got up the next morning, they still needed to eat and they still needed to drink. And as slaves, that had all been provided for them, and they really did not know where those things were going to come from. When we read the text, it actually uses the word complain, that the Israelites were complaining, you know, where is water? There's no water. We're going to die here in the desert. You should have left us in Egypt where we would have been eating and drinking. They really did not understand what freedom meant, that it also meant, to some degree, taking a kind of responsibility. God provided, when most traditional interpretations of the text are that God provided the food and the drink for them. And that's true. You know, Moses tapped a rock, water sprung forth from the rock, manna fell in the desert, and with 2 portions on Friday so that they did not have to collect their manna on Shabbat. That's why we have 2 challahs on the Shabbat table now. And then also meat. They got meat as well. They wanted meat. They asked for it and they got it. So there's this aspect of faith. There's an aspect of trusting in God. And for me, it's also an asking, the fact that they asked for it, would they have received it if they hadn't asked for it? That's a question that I have about this. So I feel like it's quite a powerful message that it's when things are very exciting, you know, it's easy to be excited and happy, but it doesn't take away the need for the day-to-day kind of faith in the fact that you can ask and find your resources, and that God will help you if you seek those out by asking for One other note on this Torah portion and this particular Shabbat, the Haftorah that goes along with it is Deborah, where she's a prophetess and a judge, and she encourages the Israelite general Barak to defeat Sisera, who I believe is a Philistine general. So there's a song in there as well, and because of that, the Song of the Sea that the Israelites sing when they cross the Red Sea, and then the Song of Deborah, this Shabbat is also called Shabbat Shirah, and it's also Tu B'Shvat. So I hope you'll read the Torah portion and celebrate in your own way this Shabbat, and Shabbat Shalom.